I've now had several of my YouTube shorts go completely viral, getting over 1 million views. So today I wanted to walk you through my process for getting those shorts millions of views after years of struggling to figure out how this shorts platform works. I believe that the things I did can be replicated by anybody making shorts. So let's go back to about a year or so ago from today. At this time, we at VidIQ were releasing about 3 to 4 shorts per week, and that was a schedule that we were holding ourselves to. We decided not to break from the schedule no matter what, but about halfway through the year we realized we were exhausted. It got to the point where we felt like we were just churning out content for the sake of churning out content, quantity over quality. So we all sat down and started asking ourselves some difficult questions. What if we slash production on these? Would that hurt our viewership? Would it be better to just keep doing what we're doing because we're at least getting some views on these things? The thing is, though, that rigid schedule was hurting us creatively. We weren't talking about our passions as much as we were just talking about things out of obligation. So we took a big leap and we went from 4 shorts per week down to 1 to 2 shorts per week. This made some of us on the team pretty anxious, but at the end of the day, it had to be done. Cutting down the quantity gave us 2 huge advantages. One is that we were no longer pumping out content, and we gave ourselves the time to sit down and actually think about things that we were really passionate about and topics we really wanted to discuss using shorts. It was decided that the quality of our shorts matters just as much as the quality of our long-form videos, and they should absolutely be taken seriously. We can now research better, we can come up with better scripts and ideas, and ultimately make a short that was better. And number 2 is that our quality went up because now we were excited about the ideas and our editors weren't bogged down with so many videos they had to make every single week. Creativity is not an on-demand thing, and that rigid schedule was killing us, which is exactly the kind of thing we would warn you guys about in one of these videos. Don't do that to yourself. I'm serious. We need to normalize this across YouTube as a whole, honestly. You do not need to be making content on a schedule if it's killing you creatively. Anyway, changing our posting strategy wasn't going to mean much if we didn't really crank up our ideation of this content. One of the things that we discovered was really missing from our shorts is that we can't just make shorts that are exactly like our long-form videos, right? These videos, like the one you're watching right now, are typically full of tips and strategies, and when you see them, it's probably because you're in a moment where you're thinking, yeah, I do want to get better at making shorts. What can I know about them? This kind of tactical advice doesn't work super well on a YouTube short when someone kind of finds it by accident. But what do we do then? Do we just make behind-the-scenes comedy sketches or something? How do we make sure that these shorts are going to be viewed and still make sense for the VidIQ brand itself? Because of the type of channel we are, we want to make sure that our long-form videos, our live streams, and our shorts feel like they're all connected in some way. With a long-form video, you sit down and it's like looking at a menu on a restaurant. You get to carefully scroll around and decide what it is you want to watch. But with shorts, it's like you're trying to sit in the restaurant, but the chef keeps coming up to you with spoons full of samples and just shoving them in your mouth. So in order to make shorts that made sense for our audience, but also captivated new viewers who weren't really asking to watch them, we had to do this. Instead of speaking from the creator's point of view, we flipped the perspective and spoke from the viewer's point of view. What that means is instead of saying, here's how Jenny Hoyos blew up her channel, we shift the perspective to say, here's how this creator can make anything go viral. So even if you're not a YouTuber, and even if you don't know who Jenny Hoyos is, you may still watch this content because likely you know what a creator is and you know what it means to go viral. Another example is a wholesome story where a creator helps somebody else who's struggling. Once in a while, everyone loves a good story that kind of starts to rebuild their faith in humanity. What was really cool is that this shift in perspective helped broaden our entire audience. We're now reaching more and more people at this point, and we're no longer confined to just giving tactical YouTube growth advice. That's a huge win, and we would have never known that was going to work unless we kind of took a step back from our upload schedule. But the best ideas don't get super far unless you start to get better at storytelling. Fortunately for us, this was something we now had more time to look into. Some of the best YouTubers in the world have been going out and giving their advice on how to tell a good story on YouTube. These creators have grown exponentially, but how did we actually find these secrets in the first place? Well, for us, it kind of helped that we were kind of interviewing already storytelling professionals. We learned a ton from those interviews. But for those of you who don't have that advantage, and still for us, we went out and we looked at more YouTube shorts, and we took notes on things that were standing out to us when it came to the stories being told. We wrote down our favorite techniques, and we borrowed our favorite ones for our own content. And these 3 key storytelling tips were what we like to use in all of our shorts. The first one is that every second counts. If the intro of your video is 5 seconds, but you have a 20-second short in your hands, that's like a huge percentage of your video. So it's imperative that the first 2 or 3 words of your short is the hook. and it gets people right away. And this might be a really good time to talk about a very specific metric YouTube has given us when it comes to YouTube Shorts, which is the viewed versus swiped away metric. This shows the percentage of people who actually watch your short before just swiping away onto the next one. A high viewed rate means that your content is grabbing people's attention and they're not swiping away from it before they actually manage to watch a good chunk of it. We have seen some evidence that shorts that hit about 70 to 90% viewed do very, very well. I'll give you a couple examples of these hooks. So one we like to use is, everyone keeps asking me this question. Right away, this headline is sparking curiosity because the viewer is now sitting there thinking, okay, yeah, what question? Tell me more. Another one we really like is this college student. We specifically chose to say college student instead of creator. This makes the video inherently more relatable to a wider audience who may not really care about what YouTube creators are up to. Now they're just curious as to what happened with this college student. So after that first sentence is when you hit them with the second script writing strategy. The tension from your scripts should always feel like a roller coaster, up and then down and then up again. The pros are really good at this, and it's this concept of opening a loop. These are story threads that are intentionally left unresolved for a limited amount of time to keep people watching the video for longer. He was 2 days away from becoming a dad, and he had just spent like all his money on a brand new house. And then the unthinkable happened. You really want to know what happens next, right? That's because your brain is literally wired to be frustrated when it doesn't have an answer to an open question like this. You waiting for that answer is what's going to keep you watching that short for longer. But just when that expectation is about to be fulfilled for a viewer, hey, that's a great time to throw in another twist or turn in the story. These are the developments that keep people interested for longer. And a simple way to achieve this, if you want to practice, is using the but so methodology.
I was at home, but I got bored, so I ended up going for a walk. But it started raining, so I ended up trying to figure out what to do. I was looking for an umbrella, but I couldn't find one, so I had to go back home. Every time I say but, like, it stops someone from scrolling. It's like, but what?
This is a structure that builds drama and momentum in a story. Just as things start dying off, something is said to reel you right back in. And the third trick is for the editing of the video itself. Remember, every second in a short counts. That's why the last line of your short could be a hook unto itself. Because if people know you're about to end the video, then they leave. They leave before it's over. So you want to make sure that you're keeping people engaged to that very last second. To do this, you can have a very abrupt but satisfying ending to your content that just inherently gets people to want to watch more from you. Think about cliffhangers in a TV show. When you find a really good one and it leaves on an epic cliffhanger, you're likely to sit down and just binge watch the whole thing in one night. You could also try what a lot of creators do, which is that seamless loop strategy, which usually gets people to watch a short maybe again, or at least watch a short past that end point to where you're getting over 100% retention from that person. Speaking of editing, we also should talk about editing the actual short for maximum impact. When it comes to any video, it's really that idea and that topic that gets people to stick around. So if your editing isn't the best, that's okay. Practice as you go. And with that in mind, shorts are a great way to practice editing because there's more and more tools every day where you can edit these things on your phone really easily. Anyway, here's some editing tricks that we believe have pushed our shorts to over 1 million views. So when we make a video that highlights a creator, we like to see, if we've interviewed them anyway, if we can include clips from that interview in the actual short. We did it with this creator here. First, we interviewed him for a long video, and then we featured parts of his story and footage in a short. This got them directly involved in the short, and it made it more engaging. But in cases where you don't have an interview, it's okay to dig into someone's channel and maybe pull a little clip or two for some B-roll. And the next tip is probably the most important one of all. You need to be ruthless with your cuts. It's not just about keeping it snappy throughout the entire video. It's about being really ruthless when it comes to cutting out things that just don't need to be there. Like, okay, look at this retention chart for this short we have with 1.3 million views. A solid 80% watched until second 37, and then literally it just falls off of a cliff in the last 2 seconds. Imagine if we went into our YouTube editor and just cut off those 2 seconds. How much higher would our retention be, and how many more views could this possibly have? I also have a quick bonus tip for you. I know it's overwhelming to try and figure out not one, but 2 completely different formats on YouTube, especially if you're a smaller channel. But the truth is, even as a larger channel ourselves, we treat shorts like a separate thing. We do not try and use them to push people to our videos or our live streams. We certainly have tested to see if we can move people from our shorts to our longs, but we've had very little success there. But if you're really looking for some more shorts tips, then I recommend this video right here from the queen herself, Jenny Hoyos, who can basically close her eyes and get 10 million views on any short she makes. Really, I'm not kidding about that.